Let's move on to this now. The South African Youth Economic Council is working on fighting youth unemployment in this country, we are told. It's hosting a Jobs Imbizo today to highlight employment and networking opportunities for young people. For more on this, let's go live now to eNCA's Monique Mortlock, who is attending that particular Imbizo. So, needless to say, Monique, youth unemployment being, an emergency at this point, being at the point of emergency, all initiatives should be welcomed to try and address this. Tell me about what exactly this Imbizo will be doing that will be trying to chip away at this crisis.
Yes, definitely. The South African Youth Economic Council, they informed me earlier that because youth unemployment rate is standing at about 65% at the moment, that it was crucial for them to do something to find solutions. And they believe that solutions cannot be found only with the government and private sector speaking amongst themselves, but with the youth's input. And it's for this reason that they decided to host the Youth Jobs Imbizo, which is wrapping up at the moment. And they've had various panel discussions over the last 2 days. Yesterday they had Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis attending. Today they have the Energy and Mineral Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe, who we are hoping to speak to shortly. I believe that he is wrapping up and he is on his way to us. But just to give you an idea of what some of the young people have been telling us today, because obviously their voices are of the utmost importance. Many of the graduates and students we spoke to today said that they are scared of entering the job market. One graduate who says she has her master's in geology, she was telling me how difficult it is just to find part-time work while she's busy completing her master's. And she said that coming to an Imbizo like this one, where she can network with people in the industry, in the mining industry, in the mineral resources industry, is such an important tool for her, because this is something that many graduates and students lack once they are out of university or while they are at university, just that networking opportunity with the people in their field. I just want to take a look how far we are with the minister. He is on his way, they said. And something else that was interesting that the South African Youth Economic Council mentioned to me is that, because I asked them, how is this Imbizo going to be different from other conferences? We always seeing conferences being held in Davos. What will make this different to a Talking Heads conference? And what the president Kanana Muzautsi, he was telling me, is that they have short-term goals and they have long-term goals, and they are and these goals are to ensure that when the young people who they invite here leave, that they have either received contacts from people in their sector, or that they have been assured of a meeting or interviews. He said that the last Imbizo that they had, there were at least 4 young people who left there with jobs or with job interviews. So they say these Imbizos are not only a Talking Heads conference, but really to find solutions, have the private sector, government, and the young people talking to each other. Tulas, I'm just checking to see how far the minister is. It seems as if the minister is still talking there in the background.
We know Gwede Mantashe very well. You could be waiting for quite a bit of time. He will honor the invitation. He will come through. But you and I can keep talking about these matters. So as you are describing there, Monique, have young people in a room with private sector players and call it the format Imbizo. Some of them leave with firm appointments, if not firm offers of jobs. That's well and fine, and we need that in the current context. But it sounds to me that, at least from what I've heard you say, that's almost like, a knee-jerk, immediate fire response, as opposed to being more systematic at a systems level, such that even those young people who are not behind those closed doors behind you know what pathways are there that have been opened by this particular Imbizo.
And Tulas, you hit the nail on the head by talking about that knee-jerk reaction, because this is something that the Youth Economic Forum's president spoke about. He said that they also have long-term goals, which is to ensure that the policies that they come up with during these Imbizos, that they write up a comprehensive report after this event is done to hand over to national government, to local government, so that my colleague Mario is just indicating to me that we are going to be going to the minister. If the minister isn't going to come to us, we are going to him. Hello, Minister Mantashe. How are you doing, sir?
I'm right, and you?
I'm good, thank you. You are live on eNCA. Minister, the importance of an Imbizo like this one, how do we ensure that it's not just a talking heads conference, that what is discussed here doesn't just stop here? My colleague Tulas was just telling me it's about the long-term goals, the sustainable solutions to addressing the high youth unemployment rate.
You know, the fact that young people get together and participate in a discussion in itself is important. It's a breakthrough, because everything starts with an idea and then it develops into a project. Now, if you don't have the ideas, no project will come through. So the fact that they are talking is quite important, because it gives us hope that if they follow through on the issues, you will begin to see some of the programs trickling down.
And sir, I heard in the panel discussion exactly the question that I wanted to ask you about that Fraser Institute survey that showed that South Africa is among the lowest. It's in the bottom 10 countries for mining investments. And I believe that with the mining indaba taking place in the next 2 weeks, obviously getting those investments crucial to the industry.
If you want to read the Fraser Institute report, read it in its entirety. Not just take one thing that is reported by one journalist. You are in the bottom 10 in terms of investment. There are quite a number of range of areas where we are assessed. We are doing well in a number of them. On 5 of the 15 areas, we have improved. On 10, we have remained on the same area that we're in. On investment attractiveness, we've gone down. And they tell us the reason for that. The reason for that is, 1, load shedding. 2, violence. They cited the incident at Richards Bay where a manager was killed. 3 is the fact that generally the state of violence in the country and stability is questionable. So what we need to do when we read that report is to do that analysis, attend to the issues that are affected. For example, on Richards Bay, we've gone a long way addressing that issue. That's why we've met Richards Bay Minerals. We're going to meet the chiefs in the area and try to reconcile their ideas, because if they don't, the investment on the southern leg of Richards Bay is not going to come through. So we must attend to the issues. To us, when we get that report, we don't throw our hands in the air. We see what we should do. But where we've done well, we say we are doing well on this issue. How do we use it? For example, we are rated very high on skills and labor availability.
And sir, what assurance can you give graduates who might be frightened of entering the job market, especially when they see those high youth unemployment rates? What is your department specifically doing? You mentioned some programs a little earlier to open up job opportunities, and especially for those graduates coming from rural areas where resources like data and even just transport to get to job interviews might be limited.
The first thing that we must never talk about in life is guarantees. Okay. If life was full of guarantees, it would be easy. It would be a walk in a park. Every success is a choice, every success is an effort, and every success is a combination of the two. So if you make right choices, you will make to success easier. If your choices are bad, you are going to struggle to get into success. And our young people must begin to understand that. Now, if you are a graduate, rural or urban, you are a graduate. That's my starting point. And therefore, you must get into the world, face the world, enter into the world, and not categorize you as urban and rural. Let me give you an example. I want you to go and do this study on your own. Check at people who have actually led every aspect of life. I can tell you that the majority of them are from rural areas. Okay, you know why? Because in their upbringing there, it's difficult. You learn many things. If you are going to be a leader in eNCA, it won't start here today. It depends on what happened when you're growing up. What did your mother tell you? What did your father tell you? What did your school teacher tell you? So all that is building a human being. That's why a child is a product of a village.
Yes, but so what programs does the department have in place to create job opportunities for young people?
The program is that one, we must drill in the ocean and find gas and oil. If we do that, people will be employed. We must go and drill in the Karoo, find shale gas, create jobs for the people. We must do all those initiatives that are resisted, make them a reality so that people can find employment.
Thank you very much. That was the Minister for Energy and Mineral Resources, Minister Gwede Mantashe, chatting to us there after today's Youth Jobs Imbizo, which the South African Youth Economic Council is hoping will not only produce short-term solutions but long-term solutions. And as we heard from the minister there, when I asked him about what is the department doing to create more youth employment opportunities, he said it starts with finding oil, finding gas, and we know what the minister's statement on this has been in the past on those climate activists stopping the seismic surveying off the coast of the west coast and the east coast, and the minister criticizing them for it, saying that that is where economic recovery will start.
All right, Monique, thank you for that. It was insightful, I think, the conversation there with the minister. I'm still reeling from him saying that, you know, we tend to focus on one aspect and forget the other aspects. And as far as the Fraser report is concerned, just before going on to list the issues that have been highlighted that make us an unattractive destination for mining investment, issues that remain unresolved. That's eNCA's Monique Mortlock there. You heard it for yourself from the minister. He says we tend to focus on one aspect when there are other aspects. And then he goes on to list that we've improved in terms of other matrices that had been highlighted by the Fraser report. But 5 out of 15, he says, we have improved. Then going on to list the issue of violence. We've been talking about violence in this country. It's starting to hit us. It's making us unattractive for investment in the mining sector. That situation around Richards Bay, the mining issue there that has been ongoing for a number of years, being the other issue that's highlighted. And then he goes on to list load shedding, that those are the issues that continue to weigh against us being an attractive destination for mining investment, which we need to create the jobs, as you and I know, our jobs situation in the country.